Hello, my name is Matthew Deutsch, and I'm a professional business plan writer. Today I'm going to be talking about writing a business plan specific for an assisted living facility. I've been writing business plans for the past 20 years, and this is by far one of the most profitable businesses I've seen time and time again. I've seen certain fad businesses that come in and out, but assisted living facilities and similarly businesses like home healthcare agencies always have a huge market that they can draw on. It's a business that's always in demand. The profitability is immense. With an assisted living facility, certainly it's a complicated business because you have so many different facets. You have to employ a number of highly skilled people. You have to acquire or lease a facility. There's a build out. So there is that complexity from that standpoint. But once you're up and running, these things are great from a financial perspective. As it relates to developing a business plan specific for this type of business, I typically follow a 9-chapter, 5-appendix format. And that way, any potential funding source sort of sees the entirety of your organization, whether you're a startup or existing. In regards to the layout, I always start with the executive summary first. Even though it's a chapter that I write the last, it's sort of the introduction to the business plan. It serves as a roadmap for the entire document itself. Chapter 2 always focuses on the financing. This includes how much it's going to cost to start your business, whether you're going to be acquiring investment from private investors, as well as using a conventional business loan to secure the facility. This is the most common way that I see it, usually 20% down with the other 80% borrowed. I have seen them finance completely with investor capitalizations or owner capitalizations, but more often than not, it's a combination of both debt and equity, usually because real estate is involved as well. Chapter 3 always outlines the operations of the business, the number of rooms, whether they're single or double occupancy rooms, as well as providing an overview of the entire operations, not only from service rendered standpoint, but also from an operational standpoint, things like procedures and protocols in the event of emergency, and also providing the proper level of care to all of the residents. Chapter 4, I always focus on just sort of the overview of the organization, where it's based, mission statement, vision statement, objectives, the type of corporation it is. Typically, this is just one page. Chapter 5, from there is the full industry and market analysis. And I always segment this into 4 different sections. The first section is the economic analysis, just an overview of the current state of the economy, the interest rate environment, inflation, GDP growth. Again, because these businesses are relatively immune from negative changes in the economy, that which is a huge plus. But I always make sure to focus on this as well, as it's important for any business. From there, this next section of that is the industry analysis, and that focuses on, and that's a bit broad-based. It focuses on trends in the industry, the number of assisted living facilities in operation, their annual revenue, and also just the growth trajectory. Most importantly, especially within the United States, the baby boomer population is entering their later years. There's going to be a huge demand, especially around 2033 to 2035, based on the way demographics are changing. Interestingly, I did a business plan within the last month, and for the first time ever in the United States, there will be more people over the age of 65 than there are under the age of 18. And that's certainly going to present a lot of challenges from an economic standpoint, but from an assisted living standpoint, that's fantastic. That is what it is. The next section down is the demographic analysis. Here I focus on the target market. So, the demographics of people that are going to use assisted living facilities is extremely broad. Any person over the age of 65, or if someone has, very serious health-related matters that requires round-the-clock care, any person, whether you're extremely wealthy or, middle income, may need assisted living from time to time. Primarily, I focus on the number of people that are over the age of 65 in the market. I take a look at all the population density, the wealth, the median household income, and then I create a map in terms of what the target market size is, not only from the number of individuals that need the service, but also from a target market size of what's the total demand in dollars in this area. The next section after that is the competitive analysis. Here I overview different facilities that would be within the same target market, what their benefits are, where they sort of lack in terms of their services. That's thoroughly discussed as well. Chapter 6 is the basis for growth. This discusses things about how your company can grow, such as creating additional assisted living facilities, integrating in new services into the facility, such as medical services that can be rendered in tandem, things of that nature. Chapter 7 is the marketing plan. This basically primarily focused on creating direct outreach with medical service providers, mental health care providers, maintaining a website, engaging in things like search engine optimization and targeted social media marketing. Here I also discuss the return on advertising expenditures per channel. So if you're spending X on online marketing, how many clients are you going to obtain because of this? Interestingly, with an assisted living facility, once you're at 100% capacity, you can kind of scale back your marketing plan because you don't really need to fill a vacancy, or your marketing campaigns, or you maintain a more moderate level so that way in an event that a vacancy occurs, you'll have someone immediately take that place. That's always thoroughly discussed in any business plan that I do specific for an assisted living facility. Chapter 8 is the staffing overview, number of personnel, their roles and responsibilities. And then chapter 9 is sort of the final major chapter of the business plan, which is the financial plan. In any plan that I write, I always do a full 5-year financial model, which covers a profit and loss statement, common size income statement, cash flow analysis, balance sheet, break-even analysis, and business ratios. If you take a look at any of my other videos, I go a little bit more in depth in regards to all these different tables and charts. Most importantly, the profit and loss statement is the heart of sort of that 3-piece financial modeling, which is very straightforward to most people. If you can add and subtract, you can create a profit and loss statement with revenue coming in, expenses, and profit. Where complexity gets a little bit more, where a little bit of greater complexity occurs is when you're developing a cash flow analysis and balance sheet, because they're not always as straightforward as the profit and loss statement. And if you're certainly struggling with putting together anything related to the financials for an assisted living facility, please feel free to reach us at any time. This video series, while discussing a number of different types of businesses and matters related to entrepreneurship, there is a promotional, aspect of this, as I am a professional business writer with 20 years of experience, and you can visit our website. There's a contact us form. Certainly feel free to reach us anytime. Consultations are always free, so if you just have some general questions or struggling, feel free to reach out again at any time. Returning to the discussion, in regards to the break-even analysis and about business ratios, I always make sure that this is very thoroughly covered from 2 aspects. Most importantly, as it relates to break-even, how many clients are going to be needed in the facility so that you operate at that steady state where you're not making money, but you're not losing money either. From a business ratio standpoint, especially if you're going to be obtaining, whether it's a conventional business loan or an SBA loan or a mortgage to acquire the facilities, what your financial metrics will be as compared to revenue, your assets to liabilities, your equity to liabilities, things of that nature that are all pertinent for potential funding source, both private funding sources such as equity investors, as well as financial institutions. And all of this, again, is thoroughly covered in any plan. And if you need to see a sample of a plan, I have the link below. This one was done for an assisted living facility. It is completely just a sample. All of the work I do is done under a confidentiality agreement. So any samples that you see on the website were just written to be samples. That's not prior client work. In regards to the 5 other appendices that are in the business plans that I would typically develop, or if you're developing a plan, you can follow that format as well. The first one is the SWOT analysis, which overviews the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The next one is the risk analysis, discussing development risk, financing risk, marketing risk, management risk, valuation risk, and exit risk. The one after that is just citations and references. And then the final 2 are an overview of for the first year, I break down the profit and loss statements monthly and quarterly for years 2 through 5. And then similarly for the cash flow analysis, monthly for the first year, and then quarterly for years 2 through 5. And that provides, again, any potential funding source or any licensing body with a full overview of what you intend to do and what you expect from a financial standpoint. Usually these plans typically run about anywhere from 39 to 43 pages, depending on the market and how much depth is applied for the operations section. Some, especially licensing related entities, want to see more, whereas a financial institution is much more just concerned with are they going to get their money back? And that's essentially it. Again, if you have any questions, certainly feel free to comment. You can visit our website. You can give me a call directly. And if you're developing a business plan on your own, specific for an assisted living facility, absolute best of luck on your venture. And thank you very much for taking a look at this video. Take care.